All right, what's up, guys? So, News Nerdcom, I think that's how you say their name. Anyways, they have uploaded a video titled I don't know how to talk. Angry Father Confronts Cashier Who Embarrassed His Daughter. He refused to apologize. Okay, see what I do, like the hand motions, it helps and stuff. So, but yeah, man, that's one thing about it where it's like you don't know who you're making fun of. And I know people are gonna probably be all like, oh, she's an adult, she should be able to fend for herself and things. Yeah, but at the same time, a manager shouldn't be, or whoever, it's like whether you're an employee, manager, supervisor, customer, you need to show respect to people when you go out and about. Like, I get that you think that you have this entitlement where you think the world owes you something. They don't. So the disrespect, like the times where I just remember at my old job, and just even with content creating, when people thought like, oh, I could just disrespect this guy and get away with it. Yeah, I may not be able to say any things, but at some point in time, I am going to have a breaking point. All right. And it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, if the pandemic probably would have never happened, you guys would have seen me doing the video, because there was at times where there were customers that would get you to that point where it's like, okay, I don't know what you got going on. And then yeah, with employees too, it was like even my own manager and stuff. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, communication, it helps. So if you got issues, then I need to know that. So I'm like, okay, customer, employee, whoever, I will leave you alone. But if you're gonna be on some disrespectful stuff, don't be surprised if I start disrespecting you back. So yeah, I'm like, I'm pretty much going to keep that same energy. So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I just think that that's what a lot of people, because I think, hey, I remember at my old job, the one manager, I think he was on some business where he thought he can like walk all over me and have control over me. And it's like, fam, you sign my checks. I appreciate that. But outside of that, you provide nothing. All right. Then I remember there was a one manager that tried to put herself on the same scale as my own mom. And I'm like, fam, my mom, I won't cuss out. All right. You, on the other hand, fam, you would catch a stunner. You would catch a good old fashioned late '90s Stone Cold stunner. Now, my mom, I may jokingly say that to her, you will actually do that too. But yeah, it's like there's at times where people, I'm like, yeah, you need to get kicked off that high horse. I'm like, I don't know what you got going on, but let's go ahead, check out this video, see what it's all about. Make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to News Nerdcom for more videos like this. But anyway,
cracked a joke about buying pads, where 12-year-old girls are buying pads. You think that's okay?
Your blatant disregard for this man's daughter is pissing me off.
Oh, so it was like, wow.
My wife and daughters just came up here and bought some pads for my daughters who are 12 years old, and you cracked a joke and embarrassed my wife and embarrassed my daughters.
That's
you think
crazy.
That's okay?
I wasn't trying to embarrass anybody.
You cracked a joke about buying
And he's
pads.
he's not understanding it. That's one thing about it was, so I thought it was on some business where it was like it might have been like the girl worked there. I didn't realize it was even a kid, bro. Like, that just makes it even worse, where it's like you just don't got respect for nobody. Now, I guarantee and I promise you, after this video went viral, we know how the internet is. We know that people, they will do research. They will figure out who you are, where you live. They will figure any and everything's out about you, bruh. I don't know how many times where it's like you'll see some stuff go down and it like, yes, so let's the same scenario. And this is like on TikTok or Instagram, whatever, but you'll see people in the comment sections talk about, and his name is John Doe. Like, and I'm like, dang. And they're like, oh, and he lives in Wakanda and he did that. It's like, bro, this don't even look like Wakanda. I'm just saying though, like, jokes aside, there people know, like, they go deep in depth when it goes to the investigate and stuff. But yeah, that's one thing that I never did throughout the 4 years and hundreds of customers that I had ringed out. I never, the thing is this, I would crack jokes that I know it's okay to crack. Like, for an example, there was the one customer, he was a friend of mine's though, but I wonder how he's doing. But anyways, but no, I remember, I think it was the New England Patriots. They lost some game or something like that. And I remember I went and shook his hand, gave him a hug, and then as soon as I was pulling away from the hug, I was like, man, that was a messed up Patriots game. He pushed me, cussed me out and things, but it's stuff like that where I'm like, okay, I know that that's like a appropriate joke. It's not like something where it's like, okay, like my managers is gonna, like, if anything, my managers is gonna see that and get the cracking up laughing that I said that to him and stuff. So yeah, it was one of those things where it's like the customers that I was cool with, I built a relationship with them to where it was like inappropriate jokes. Like if we crack those jokes, that's just our sense of humor. But it, like a brand spanking new customer, nah, couldn't do that.
12-year-old girls are buying pads. They just started the period.
I wasn't making a joke about them.
What were you making a joke about?
I had said, do you need a bag? And when she had said yes, I was like, what do the neighbors think?
Yeah. How do you think it's going to make somebody feel? Especially 12-year-old girls.
I'm like, that's a horrible joke. I'm like, what? Okay, because I'm trying to pride me. Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, that it's, what are you even talking about? I think, yeah, if anything, I probably, if I've been that parent and like, bro, what are you talking about? What do you mean my neighbors? I'm like, man, give me my change and my stuff. I'm like, you out here saying things that don't even make no sense. I'm like, don't quit your day job. I'm like, yeah, you are a horrible comedian. It's one of those things. It's like, man, what is you talking about? I'm like, give me my stuff, man. Go on somewhere.
You have
Even the dad sounded confused. Like, he's like, okay, like that, yeah, that's a horrible joke, bruh.
a track record of running your mouth up here, man.
Oh,
And you keep doing it, corporate's going to get called. You ain't going to have no fucking job.
forget. Going to
understand
get,
that?
no, they are going
Yes.
to get called.
And you also going to have a bone to pick with me. You live here in Barnum? Because I do. And I see you up here all the time, man. And I'm not cool with it. My daughters are embarrassed, crying. My wife is embarrassed. And I'm not all right with it, man. Keep your fucking mouth shut at work. Quit cracking jokes. I come in here all the time, man. You're always running your mouth, dude. It ain't cool. Keep your mouth shut and do your job. You ain't nobody's friend. You're here to check people out, give them their stuff, give them their change, give them their receipt, and let them go on about their business. Nobody has time for all your other shit. You understand?
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Wow.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
Do you understand it?
I hear what you're saying.
You need to quit being fucking retarded. You're about to get hurt. This is somebody's fucking daddy, dude. You need to quit being fucking retarded. I'm somebody's.
And that's the thing. It's like, it's bad when other customers, because yeah, I'm pretty sure there's other customers that then dealt with them before. I mean, yeah, just based off what the dad said and how this other guy is going off in the background and stuff. But it reminds me of the time I remember there was this one dude at it was this GameStop's. It's closed down. And that guy, he got fired. Like, it's either he got fired or quit long before the place had closed down. But anyways, that he kind of was like this guy. He wouldn't crack inappropriate jokes though, but he would just say things that rub people the wrong way. Like, I remember I went in there trying to get, I told this story before, but I went in there trying to get Saints Row the Third when it was coming out, and he wanted me to get one of those like power up rewards cards, and I'm like, fam, I didn't come up here for no power up rewards card. Came up here for a video game. What my thing is this: what kid goes to a GameStop's for a card and they surrounded by 100 different video games? What kid do you know spends $15 when there could be spending $15 on cheap games, new games, whichever? My thing is this: what kid do you know goes all the way up to a GameStop's for a power-up rewards card? It's like, man, give me my game. He got so upset, he slammed my game on the counter, and I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things. I'm like, I wish that would have happened in my adult years. Now it's like you go into a GameStop's, everybody's cool and all that stuff. I mean, I don't be looking for a problem, but I'm just saying, it's like, it's stuff like that where I'm like, you really that pressed over? I'm like, I don't know if you making money and stuff off of it. This not how you make money. So yeah, that's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, that guy, he was insane. I was like, I remember another time when I went in there and I seen him and I'm like, I ain't gonna go and get nothing. I'll just go and try to get either some Xbox cards and just buy the game digitally or whatever. But anyways, I was in there looking around. Old dude comes in and he's like, hey, do you guys, I can't remember which Resident Evil game it was. It might have been 4, 5, or 6. But anyways, the guy asked for a Resident Evil game. He's like, oh, that Resident Evil game's not that good. You might want to get the last Resident Evil game that came out. That one was a lot better. And the old dude was like, okay. And he walked out. He didn't even get the game. And it's like, why do you think this old man came up here? He came up here for a video game for his grandkid. I really do hope that old dude, he did get the video game for his grandkid, just had to go to another store. But I'm like, man, yeah, it's just sometimes there's just people, they don't understand, customer service and just overall being cool with the customers and stuff.
Daddy, too, and your blatant disregard for this man's daughter is pissing me off enough to beat your ass. So
I'm not disregarding his daughter in any way, shape, or form.
Look at me, you're a brony or whatever the fuck. You're about to get fucked up, dude. I promise you. You don't know what...
That's not cool, man. When you got 12-year-old girls coming up here with pads, you don't crack jokes, homie. You don't crack jokes.
You need to say, I'm fucking sorry. And shut the fuck up.
You don't crack jokes, man. You do this all the time, dog. You've had complaints called on you multiple times. You know that.
Yeah, I'm like, I know people probably, and it's not even a question. It's like, okay, how would you go about the joke? You just don't joke. A woman and her daughter comes off into a store. Let's say if I work in there, and they're all like, oh, where's the pads? Just down that aisle. If they're expecting me to tell a joke, I'm like, I don't know what joke to tell. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable cracking a joke about your 12-year-old daughter getting pads. Like, it's one of those things. I'm like, yeah, that would have been unheard of with me. I'm like, all right, yeah, so it'll be such and such. I'm like, would you like a receipt? Cool. I'm like, have a good day. And then going about my business and things. If anything, they probably would have came off in there telling me, all like, hey, bro, you need to have a little bit more of a sense of humor. I'm like, I don't know what to crack jokes about. I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things. I'm like, I'm just trying to go home, man. Like, I don't know. But yeah, this guy, no social skills.
Man. You need to cut it out. Cause you picked a nerve with me, and I'm pretty upset about it, man. Is there a manager?
She's the acting manager.
Ma'am, I need to speak with you, please.
Yeah, get this
My wife's daughters came in here about 5-10 minutes ago, and they were buying pads for my 12-year-old daughters who just started the period, so they're already embarrassed about it. This dude runs his mouth way too much all the time, and y'all know that. They're buying pads. He said, do you need a bag? They say yes, and then he says, well, what do you think the neighbors would think if they saw that?
Oh,
12-year-old kids, man, they're embarrassed, almost crying when they get home. My wife is embarrassed, and even when they came in here, they told my wife, I hope he don't say nothing, because they know how he is. Yeah. That's bullshit.
That's crazy. It's like, my thing is, okay, me being the neighbor, if I see a mom and her daughter walking into their home, okay, that's the thing. Me as a neighbor, I have no say-so. I have no business knowing of what's going on in that person's home. So if I see them walking into their home with some pads and stuff, I probably wouldn't even know what it is. I'm like, it's one of those things. I'm like, I guess with me, I don't be paying attention to my neighbors like that unless I see, like, yeah, if they got some Jeepers Creepers stuff going on where they carrying a big giant sheet with red with red stains in the rope, I'm like, then okay, then I'm like, all right, I need to, get away from Washington State and call the police. If it's just my neighbors, they just, some normal grocery shopping, I'm like, why would the neighbors be thinking about that? So that's what he meant by that. Okay, so thinking like, oh, the neighbors is going to be looking at you. So what? That's, that's one thing where I'm like, I guess like just, growing up with women, like that's something that you hear of a lot, like periods, time of the month, stuff like that, and that's something you shouldn't be embarrassed over. I'm like, that's life. I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, if I could just sit down, talk to anybody that's going through that stuff and you're embarrassed by it, don't be. I'm like, that's something that a person should know, like, okay, like they have to go through stuff like that. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, that guy, he probably said that because he's like, okay, it's two women, they're not gonna say or do anything to me, I'm bigger than them, and they still would stump you out, even the 12-year-old girl. But it's one of those things, I'm guaranteeing, I promise you, he wouldn't have said that if the dad was the one to show up, and he probably was thinking like, oh, okay, that woman probably ain't got no husband. The last thing he was expecting was a guy to go off in there and start going off on him and stuff. So but yeah, that's just, that's crazy.
I'm pissed, and I need a number for a corporate or something, because that's not cool.
Okay.
Like, they're already
Our regional
embarrassed.
manager's number is right on the door.
Yeah, and he can't even apologize.
Can't even say on the phone.
I'm like, man, shut up. Don't say
He
nothing
can't
to
even
me.
apologize.
Let me pay for
I
this
did
shit.
apologize.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't, man. I asked you if you understand what I was
Yeah,
saying.
he just
and
stood
you
there
said
and looked.
you hear what I'm saying. That's all you said.
What did you say?
Well, tell them what you said.
What did you say?
I had asked them, do you need a bag? They had said yes, and I'm friendly, said, what do the neighbors think if they see you with it?
What do you mean friendly?
Yeah,
That's the thing with like people like him. They say crazy things and they think, oh, if I add some words in there that makes it seem like, oh, I was being nice and polite and all that stuff. That's not, even if you friendly ask, that's not a question that you ask somebody. That's not something that you say to somebody. That's insane. Throughout the years of me, the 4 years I worked customer service, I never had no incident where a customer had to there was the one time I remember I was for certain that customer was going to, but me and him, we already had problems and stuff. So that customer, I don't want to like make no assumptions, but I think that I think he was and if you watch the movie Django, I think he was rooting for the people opposite of Django. But anyways, if you know what I mean. But no, yeah, that customer, he was always weird with me. Like, he never would say anything to me, but when it came down to anybody, like there was the other cashier, for an example, where he was the opposite of me, where, oh yeah, he'll be talking with them, all that other stuff. Came to me, absolutely nothing, dead silent. So there was a day I remember we were walking into the elevators, so it was me, him, and these two women. So anyways, the women walk in, they walk in perfectly fine, they're going the normal speed limit of walking, all right. Then it comes down to, well, I was behind him, but I knew that my walking speed limit, it was going to match with those women. This guy, his walking speed limit, I seen him walk fast all throughout my cafe. There was never a time where he had like some elderly, oh, let me take my time and walk in slow motion. I'll admit, I think I did go a little bit too far when I did this. I used my forearm and I pushed him off in the elevator because I'm like, you don't walk that slow. I'm like, these doors is in, plus on top of that, the doors was getting ready to close. And so I was like, so no, this is what I did. So afterwards, I did go up to my managers and I told them, I'm like, hey, look, a customer may call you guys and tell them that I pushed them into the elevator. I did. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I used my forearm and I pushed them in. I kid you guys not. You would have thought that I was Kevin Hart or something at a stand-up comedy show. All of my, so it was the chef, it was the head chef. It was the one manager that I would get into it with. I'm trying to think who else was in the room. I think it was somebody from I think it was the catering manager. Feel like there might have been a fourth person in there. They all started busting out laughing. The manager that I didn't even get along with, he was laughing. I was looking, I'm telling you guys, you would have thought that I was in the middle of a Twilight Zone episode, because I was like looking at everybody like, what's going on here? No, time out. What why are you guys laughing? I'm like, I told the then it was the supervisor, my friend Jack. I'm pretty sure if you guys are frequent watchers, then you know who Jack is. But anyways, I told him, he started laughing. I'm like, why are you guys laughing? Get mad. Tell me I'm like in trouble or something. I'm like, what is going on right now? So, but no, the customer, he never did. He stopped showing up to the cafe. But yeah, overall though, I didn't get no email. If I did, or if they did get an email about me, they must have deleted that email or didn't even bother going into it and stuff. And that's probably why that customer, because I think he did come in there like one last time, and then I think he must have seen me and then was all like, oh well. And he was like, I wrote in the email they should fire him, and he's still here. Oh, I'm never coming back down again. So yeah, maybe he retired. I don't know. Maybe he was getting up there at age, and that's what he just, all of a sudden the old age just hit him right then and there. And I'm like, fam, you walk perfectly fine any other day. But overall though, it's one of those things where I'm like, I ain't gonna say that I was right for what I did, but I ain't gonna be, I guess like with me, I was gonna apologize. But I feel like with something like this, comparing the situations, yeah, I think anybody would have did what I did in my situation, but his situation, this guy, it's like, you have no people skills, so.
Why would you say that?
Here's what anybody thinks about a
I was
12-year-old.
just making a joke.
Period, dude.
It's not a joke, man. You don't joke around. First of all, you don't joke around with women.
Yeah.
But that's not cool. You don't joke around with women like that, period. Especially
And
children.
it's like the times where like female friends where they felt comfortable telling me, because yeah, there's been times where like female friends of mine, they would tell me like they call, like one of my friends, she calls it Shark Week. And so yeah, I just, because like she was telling me like, oh yeah, it's Shark Week. I'm like, Shark Week? I'm thinking she talking about like when they do the TV show and stuff. I'm like, I ain't seen no advertisement for no Shark Week. What are you talking about? And then yeah, I was all like, I'm like, what is she talking about? But then when she explained, I'm like, oh, that Shark Week. Okay. Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. I see. I'm like, maybe you could. I'm like, I don't know, like there's a way of like going, but I'm like, that's the thing though, I'm not going to make her feel embarrassed like, oh, you're not allowed to go through that. It's one of those things where it's like, women, it's a part of your body. You gotta go through it. I guess like whoever my future wife is, or if I have a daughter and she's worried about that type of stuff, I'm like, that's one of those things where I'm like, I guess like with me, I wouldn't have a problem going to the store and buying like pads and stuff. Cause I'm like, I definitely would have been off in that store. How I'm talking right now, just the same voice I've been all like, okay, so they got these ones where it's like they look different than the other ones. So like, which ones did you say? I get the ones that's on the left. I'm like, but the ones on the right, they look durable. They look like there's, something about them. Like it's, like I feel, okay, I'll get the ones on the left. Like it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, it's just something that I guess like with me, I wouldn't be embarrassed by. I'm like, it's, it's life. I'm like, it ain't no different than any other sort of like, I can't call it a condition, but yeah, it's like if you go into a Rite Aid and you're getting medication, or if you're getting something else crazy and things. So yeah, I ain't had people come up to me talking about hemorrhoid cream and stuff. My thing is this: when you have moments like that, you learn that anything in this world is not embarrassing. So, anyways, to whoever that mom, daughter, don't be embarrassed by that type of stuff. He just ain't got no people skills. So I guarantee and I promise you, if it was this girl that had ringed the mother and daughter up, if anything, she would have given out some advice like, hey, there's this other one that's in that same aisle right next to it. The ones on the right, they're more durable. They're much more better and stuff.
Children, man, these are kids, 12-year-old kids, man, at home embarrassed. You don't think they're already?
Slater giving an apology from the corporate office. Was the guy fired? And the cashier ended up being suspended. Hopefully permanently. Like that's like not like suspended like he's suspended and came back, but like indefinitely, like he ain't ever coming back. Because yeah, it's like it's stuff like that, people, you need to understand that if and the thing is that you really don't know when a person's embarrassed by something. So that's why I'm just saying, it's like there's just certain things that just don't need to be discussed and talked about. But yeah, it's like with that guy, I'm like, yeah, that guy, whoever that guy is, he got issues. And the thing is like, I've dealt with people like throughout my content creating career, I've dealt with people like that where they just know they don't have no sense of awareness to situations and stuff. So he thinks that he did something normal because, oh, I talk like this with my friends, or I talk like this with my family. Yeah, that mother and daughter is not your friend or family. Them are random customers. I'm like, so yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, you might have people skills with your friends and family, but as far as random people, you can't like share that same like level of conversations that you have with your friends and family with some random people. So yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, to Eddie, if you're starting a cashier job and you act like that guy, or you didn't see anything wrong with what that guy did, either quit that job or don't say nothing to them cashiers, because yeah, to the customers, yeah, because there's people like him where I've heard some stories of people that I ain't got into it with where they've been in similar situations and they ended up losing their jobs because they either then said something to either the worker or the I think it was with the one guy that I was getting into it with. He said he was getting into it with the workers and stuff. So yeah, it's like there's just some people I'm like, yeah, you don't need no customer service job. You need one of them like background behind the scenes jobs where you just don't communicate with people. But anyways, yeah, make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to News Nerdcom for more videos like this. Like, subscribe to me too, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.